I know. It is a little awkward. Like, when I first started doing this, it's like, how do you talk to everyone? Except you're not really talking to everyone. You're kind of talking to yourself because you're talking to, like, the camera.
Right.
So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways. So Liz here is her name, but she doesn't want her face on camera, which is fine. Because I appreciate her regardless. So, Liz, what do you do for a living?
Peer support specialist.
You do what? Talk louder.
Peer support.
So, what does peer support mean to you?
To me personally, I like to help people. I like to help people overcome their self-doubt and bad feelings, negative thoughts. My best friend killed herself 5 years ago, and peer support for me is a way of, I couldn't save her, but maybe I can help somebody else in her situation.
I like that you said that, that you couldn't save her, but then when you talk about other people, you say help, because we can't save other people.
Right.
So I like that you said that.
Right, because, ultimately, it's their decision.
Mm-hmm. So that affected you a lot then, obviously, your best friend committing suicide.
Mm-hmm. There for about 3 months after she died, every time I would get upset about it, I would have thoughts like, I just want to go be with her, because suicide, it may end your pain, but it moves it along to somebody else. And I feel like I grasped a lot of that pain she was feeling.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's really rough. Like, that's where it's hard for me to, like, not feel like an immense amount of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know the fact that I attempted that, it affected everybody. It still does.
Yeah.
I can't, like, and I shouldn't, but sometimes just out of habit or something, like, I'll make a joke about, fuck my life or something like that, and it really upsets my friends. And, and I get it. So I've worked on that to not say those kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know you then, but it affected me when you told me.
What were you doing when I told you? Because we were texting, right?
Yeah. Where was I? I think I was out at my mom's house with my kids and my mom and my husband having dinner. And I got that text, and it just kind of shook me, and I cried a little. But I was happy that you trusted me enough to share that with me.
Yeah. Why were you crying? Like, what about it upset you to that point?
Just, I don't know, because I care about you, and it made me sad that you were at a point in your life where you felt like you couldn't go on.
Yeah, and I appreciate your friendship. Like, we really have gotten to a point where I can tell you things, because at first I didn't tell Liz anything. Broken ankles, I just tell everyone I got in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not something that I need to share with the entire world, or especially not right up front, or I don't feel like I need to. I don't want to, and especially because I don't want that to be like the main focus of Sierra.
Yeah.
So I like people to get to know me and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's part of my story, though. So it's kind of something, especially where it still affects me, like, so much.
Yeah.
Physically and everything. Like, I have to say those things eventually.
Yeah.
And that's sad. Like, I don't know.
A lot of people look down on others who have made a suicide attempt or have suicidal ideations. So it's important to gain trust.
Definitely. And I think it's interesting that you say that, because I really do think there's a stigma behind it, or just surrounding all of those things in general. But, like, you'd be amazed at how many people, like, have reached out to me, privately, or, told me, like, I feel the same way, or I have felt the same way, or, you speaking about this, you speaking about that has helped me in this way and that way. you know, and I would never speak on who those people are or anything
Yeah.
like that, you know, because that's not my
Yeah.
story to share. But, like, it affects a lot of people, and I don't know, I think it would be great if there wasn't that stigma
Right.
surrounding all of that.
Right. So, one of the teens I work with, she told me that there is a group of people on Instagram who are faking suicides. I'm like, why would you do that?
That's horrible.
It is.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind me asking, then, like how have you dealt with it now? Like, the passing of your friend.
I mean, I always still think about her. I try to remember the positive things and the good times that we had together and all the fun we had and what a good mom she was. So whenever I'm out on the motorcycle or something, I always think of her because I look up to the clouds and I look for her in the clouds. And if I see a cloud that, looks even just a tiny bit like a face, I'm like, okay, there you are. I know that you're here with me. And I know she's with me and keeping me safe and all her loved ones safe. So, I just try to think of the positive.
That's good. I think that's great. And so me, like, where I was obviously, unsuccessful in my attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've done or try to do with just about everyone that's close to me. I allow them to go with me to counseling because that's something, that my plan is set up for, that I can do that.
Right.
Because my actions didn't just affect me, and everyone needed to heal from it,
Right.
And probably still do in some sort of way. So,
Right.
if that was an option for you and your friend, is that something you would do? Because, I've told all of my friends, I understand if you're upset with me.
Mm-hmm.
I know if you're mad that it's okay.
Yeah. I think if it was possible, yeah, that would be something that would be great.
It's hard, but, like, the way my therapist explained it to me, like, it's good for me to hear how I affected people.
Yeah.
Because I guess, like, to a certain degree, a certain amount of guilt will keep me from doing those kinds of things again. Will help me to not do those kinds of things again. So, it's just I guess the trick is, like, finding the right balance between that amount of, like, guilt and shame. Like, it's too much shame, then that's just counterproductive. And
Right.
something else that I've also tried to share with all of my friends, because I've had certain ones say, like, I should have known. I said, no, you shouldn't have, like, suicide and everything in itself is just so hard already as it is, like.
Well, somebody who's suicidal and depressed, they can look completely normal.
Mm-hmm.
They can wear a smile and laugh and be happy. There's many different faces.
Absolutely. So it's definitely something I try and, reassure my friends of as often as I can, like, that it's not their fault. And
Right.
what I did was not to, even though it affected everyone, it wasn't to hurt anybody, just myself, which I wasn't thinking, and which was dumb to think, it was only going to affect me.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're in the moment of, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, you don't think of anybody else except for stopping that pain.
Oh yeah, that's basically what it was. And obviously I wasn't thinking, I was pretty doped up.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't laugh about, but that's pretty not. Yeah.
Was it just like your medication that you were prescribed that you were doped up on, or?
But I took so much that, like, when my tox screens came back, they asked me if I smoked meth.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like,
Wow.
no. I was like, I've never smoked meth. They said it was the Wellbutrin
Oh, yeah.
mixed with everything else. So I was like, nope.
Yeah, it's probably got amphetamine in it then.
Oh, I'm sure. They're like, are you sure? I was like, I'm sure. I didn't smoke anything. I just took what I had, which was a lot. You know, because I just refilled on just about everything, but...
Well, I'm glad you're still here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys should see her cute little face.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Yeah, these guys, they only see Katie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have... How many friends have you had do this with you?
You're the first one that I've had, like, this type of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first one. I mean, Katie's just in the videos because she's always around.
Yeah.
And she doesn't mind.
That's cool.
Just kidding.